Greetings, everyone, at Statistical Wullie. And I'm here to tell you about a new book by William Hazle, who's my guest today. Okay, I'm going to drop that now. Welcome to your show.
You can't beat a South African accent.
You know, I can do it. It's just one of those things where, like, when you're doing an accent and you start out, it always sounds wrong, but then you fall into it with like certain vowels.
It did no. There was a lot of Jimmy Doohan in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. No, usually what I do when it's like who is it? It's Billy Connolly or something like that.
Right. Hello there. Hello, big man. Yeah.
But welcome to your show, Wullie.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on my show, Statto.
It's been a great launch so far. I couldn't help but notice.
Yes, I'm well happy with the launch so far. That's a really good start. Fairly well funded. We're on £1,000 British pounds at the moment.
42 minutes.
42 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, a lot of good people out there.
And thanks to Charlie's London for doing that.
Indeed, a big thank you out there to Charlie's for doing it and getting me on there. And I was like panicking beforehand. Everything was going wrong today as well. I was like,
oh, this one's very right.
For about an hour and a half this morning. I was like,
you got your mistakes out of the way early and just like blew it out of the way. So let's talk some Ailsa Dark. Okay, or do you want me to call it Ailsa Dark?
Yes, you know what? That's what I forgot to do. I should have put that in sort of metadata somewhere because so many people call her Ailsa Dark. I should have done that.
No.
But yeah, you can call her whoever you want.
I'll call her a success.
Yes, me too. That's cool. Yeah, Ailsa Dark.
All right.
Or Ailsa. Don't call her that to your face, or she'll give you a slap.
So we do movies on this channel a lot. Let me ask you this. So she would come from a movie background in the comics and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If she were a movie, now who would make her? Would it be like Hammer? Would it be AIP? Would it be?
Well, that's a good question. I would. Okay, so it has to. Okay, so it's got to be set at the time when they were active making movies.
Sure.
It's not that hard to answer. If it was around about the early 70s, I would say the late 60s into the early 70s, it would have to be Hammer.
Okay.
And it would have to be Caroline Munro that plays her.
Really?
Yeah, I would say around about 1972, 1973. It would have to be Hammer. It would have to be a shoestring Hammer budget. And just me involved creatively, going back in my time machine, get my tweed jacket on, get my pipe.
Caroline Munro, I could see that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only person that I could think of from that time that would want to play in her. If you were to like set it, if it wasn't just limited to those companies, if it was going to be like an Italian production, then perhaps Monica Vitti would be a good choice to play her. But this is I can't think of anybody today. Well, actually, I can. There's one or two people I can think of today, but I'm not going to say who because you never know. I might just be able to convince somebody to play her.
Right, right. So now for so that kind of gives a flavor of kind of like what you're going for here. With it, would you say that's tone? Kind of 70s Hammer is the tone of the book?
Yeah, I would say it's the tone of the book is somewhere between 70s kind of Hammer and also the kind of you mentioned AIP. There was a lot of movies being made that were sort of individual kind of titles that were out there. I think we were talking about one on the show. I think this the other week, it was something like Scream and Scream Again, kind of movies that were modern day movies that tended to blend and mix genres together and didn't really think too much about the fact that the tone would change as the movie went on. So I wanted to evoke the idea of like a Hammer horror and that it's grand guignol, so I think that kind of approach to it. But at the same time, I wanted to mash up genres So it is very much, you can imagine, the Modesty Blaze action hero mixed up there with the werewolf cult that are going to have like a ceremony where they're going to sacrifice people or whatever it is they're going to do. You'll find out in issue 3. And then also kind of blend in maybe some kind of like a hard-boiled sort of like crime idea to it, and a bit of camp as well. Maybe a bit of camp in there too.
Love it. That I gotta say, that'd be something to see a whole group of like Hammer werewolves, like Oliver Reed werewolves, because he didn't get nearly enough time, and they didn't get enough time to expand on that because he got like 10 minutes maybe in the movie.
Yeah.
What could have been?
He was crying out for a sequel where you find out he's not dead. Spoiler, he gets killed. Right. You find out he's not dead, because that always happened in Hammer movies when they got sequels. How many times did Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee get killed off only to come back as Frankenstein and Dracula?
Well, they went a way different direction with that movie. He could have gotten shanked. And still gotten killed. I mean, he's never...
Exactly.
So tell me about Ailsa as a person. I mean, like, so if you forget, like you created her, like this is a friend that you know. What's she like? What's she like?
She's warm. She's friendly. She's jovial, and she's also an addict of some kind. You won't understand that if you read the comics. Mm-hmm. So she has another side. You want her on your side, definitely. She's a kind of a nurturing kind of person. Okay, her nature generally is a nurturing nature. However, you don't really learn too much about her in the first couple of issues, because I wanted to create a character that would grow as the storylines go on. I've got 3 volumes in mind. Werewolves and Vampires is the first one, and it's crazy. Each issue is crazier than the one that came before, and then you lead into a second volume called The Bride of the Monster, which is going to be set around kind of like B-movie Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And the third volume is called The Origin of Ailsa Dark. So you really don't get to know her a lot. It's almost like I'm drip feeding you who Ailsa Dark is, and also I'm maybe drip feeding you some red herrings as to who she is as well. And how I'm doing it is she narrates the story, but she only narrates her part of the story. There's 3 narrators. One is Ailsa, and one is Umir, who's a cop, a Glasgow cop, mm-hmm. And he's now fighting against vampires, werewolves, and all these kind of things with Ailsa Dark. His partner died, and she kind of haunts him as a ghost. So he narrates the story from his point of view as well. And there's a third narrator, the storyteller, who he knows we're reading. And he talks to us directly. He breaks.
He's an omniscient guy.
Yeah, totally. He breaks the fourth wall and he talks to us directly, and he tells you more about the characters than they do, or at least you think he does, because we trust him.
Right.
So yeah. So yeah. On surface, I would say yes. She seems like the kind of lovely kind of person you would want on your side, but you don't really know. You'll find out whether she is indeed, because I do use this. It's a bit kind of like corny, but I like corny. Dark by name, dark by nature. Is she? Isn't she? You're going to find out. That's the idea.
So, what kind of books were you reading when you came up with Ailsa? Like books or movies or whatever you're watching? Were you just kind of sitting on the couch watching some TV or reading a book, and you're just thinking, I got an idea for a story? Yeah,
there's not a month goes by where I don't watch a classic Hammer horror movie or a movie from around about the 60s or 70s that's got that kind of feel to it. So I'll always put one of those in. In fact, today I got a box delivered, and it was the Blu-rays of all the Christopher Lee Fu Manchu movies. So it's gorgeous. I love all that kind of stuff. It was all forbidden when I was a child, and you were dying to see it, and when you got to see it, it was magnificent. Now a lot of it's very ropey looking, and people wonder why did you love that stuff, but you just did, and I still do. So there's not a month goes by where I don't watch some stuff like that. But I also was influenced a wee bit by kind of like police procedurals now. Sure. And that's only because I wanted to start the story in a very traditional kind of way. It's almost like a police procedural kind of introduction, but it's done to lure people into a false sense of security. They feel that they understand this is the kind of way you would set up a story, and then it all gets a wee bit mental once the band pots come in and everything kind of starts to ramp up.
Nice. So like, speaking as someone that came in late, don't know a ton about the project yet. I mean, I know it looks amazing. I know what I like, what I've seen from the stories. If you're going to go with like a ballpark kind of, this is what this story is about. This is how the film stuff works into it. If that's even a spoiler or whatever like that, how would that go?
I don't know how the film stuff it works into it. I'm influenced by images as well and ideas. So there is the human world in it, and it's very much it's Glasgow. I set it in. It's my home city. So the story starts in the Glasgow necropolis, a big graveyard in Glasgow, and it says at the start it's going to end there too, and it is. It's going to end in that necropolis, and so I wanted to have a grounded in a real place that anybody that's been there or lives there will say, "Oh, hang on a minute, I know that street. You know, I know where we are here." And then I wanted to create this other world. So it's the other world of myth, which is called the other world in lots of different kind of like mythologies. But instead of fairies and stuff like that, this world is a world where the vampires and zombies and everything comes from. So that allows me to recreate and kind of like imagine these kinds of beasts. So essentially, it's like I was looking at various things that would help me develop these worlds, and one of the things was like a TV show in the 80s that we had in Scotland and the UK called Taggart, which was a police procedural, and that's one of the first things I started looking at. And I even toyed around with the idea of making it a period piece, the first story, but I didn't go there. And also Escher was influential, but not so much Escher as Massimo Belardinelli, an artist who worked in 2000 AD. So he was kind of influential on me, because I do create a place called the Dreamscape, where weird things happen. You don't know whether they're real or not. And so there's very much, it was just these visuals I had, more that than ideas, if you know what I mean. So they're just little touchstones, and I always find that if I'm sitting drawing something, you get more and more ideas start to flow. I mean, I read over it myself, maybe before I went to print, and I started to see things in there, and I thought, hang on a minute, this I didn't quite realise that was in there, you know. So you can't, but I guess I think it was just projecting. The Sadie Bogle Man, on the other hand, I consciously wanted the story to be like a 1970s. There you go, the Daddy Bogle bird. I wanted
Daddy Bogle Man.
Yeah, that's both fun and terrifying, Statto. Love that. Yeah, that anybody who's read that story, I said when I did it, I said, you must read this with a glass of wine and have the voice of Vincent Price in your head while you're reading it. You can, of course, use the voice of Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing. And I wanted it to have a melodramatic feel to it. And so I very consciously made it like a hybrid of the Wicker Man and a Hammer movie. I thought, what if Hammer had made the Wicker Man? It wouldn't have been, it would have been right in your face. It would have been like shock. So
yeah,
that's what I did with that. I consciously wanted to make something like that.
So Teddy Bogle. Now, this is another one. Like I've seen a bunch of pictures and stuff. I don't know a ton about it, but it looks great. Is it like sort of like those old anthology kind of stories, or is it his own like deal? Is he like a host? Is he?
That's how he was born. It was like around about 2015. I decided, because I was teaching a few years before that. I was working in the games industry. I'd quit from the games industry, and I was now lecturing. And I thought, I want to do something, like creative for my own, enjoyment. So I started making comics. So an anthology comic was a good idea, because I could rope in my mates to kind of help me out with some stories. I did that. They helped me with the first issue, and I wanted a Crypt Keeper, something visually like the Crypt Keeper, and I just came up with the Tatty Bogle Man. So I did one drawing of him. He was more of a skull-like guy with a kilt, and as I'm drawing him, I'm thinking of the story while I'm drawing things, and he kind of came to life. So he's meant to be kind of funny, and he would connect the stories. And I said to the other artists, interpret them any way you want. So he never really had a consistent look when I was doing the anthology. And it's only even now I have two ways of drawing them. So in my mind, there's two versions of the Tatty Bogeyman, so that I kind of have two ways of drawing them. And if I feel like I can draw them completely differently, because the character is, if you read his stories, he is incredibly powerful. He's incredibly powerful, and he could probably destroy the world if he wanted to. But luckily for the world, he just likes to go after individuals and groups of people and terrorize them. He gets his kicks out of that.
Makes sense. Well, I'm excited. I got beat out. I know you know this from the other stream, but I got beat out for number 1 as far as back in your thing, and I put the Tatty Bogeyman in.
That was Michael. That's like you see, you were caught out because you were. That's a Tatty Bogeyman. That's his wicked sense of humour. People don't believe me, but he is real. He is real.
So let's get into your campaign here. First of all, I want to see if anything's changed. Got a share screen up for you.
That's exciting.
Seeing as how it's my show.
It's your show.
I've got to have you okay everything. It's my show.
I'm much more relaxed because when I open up StreamYards, and I've usually got my 2 screens going. I've just got 1 screen tonight, 1 microphone, and 1 glass of beer. I'm much more relaxed.
Well, that's good. So it looks like, let's say, 18 backers.
Oh,
so far.
Nice. As
far as I'm concerned,
I'm trying to share. Just bear with me. It's coming.
There it is.
Yay!
As far as I'm concerned, that's $1,386 out of 1,041. So you're 133% there.
That's crack. But we'll just stay with the dollars because I like the look of that. That's grand. I'm having a wee look myself now to see what's been going. So a lot of people going in for the L3. The variant's doing nicely. There's 8 people going for that.
Let's see. Oh, yes, the 24-hour variant. So this has got, what is this? This would be 23 hours left or so.
Yeah, I hope I've set that up properly. I need to go. I think you can just turn them off after 24 hours if you haven't set it up properly. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like anybody, because you can, once you've got the variant in your kind of like it's not like a shopping basket. I suppose it is in your shopping basket. You can choose to add the other 2 issues to it, so you still get all 3. And as anybody who's watching the last show with Charlie's London will see that I quickly added the original one there as an add-on as well, in case people wanted both covers, because I hadn't thought about
that. So we got 5 on this one, which is it's gonna have all 3 of the issues. That'll get you caught up real quick.
Yeah, that's anybody that's just wanting the story. That's what you're going to get. You will, of course, get all the stretch goals if we manage to meet them. What do you mean if? When we meet them.
When we meet them, yeah, exactly.
When we meet them.
That's how we think here. So we got the digital copy for the 3, in case you don't want to pay all the shipping.
I found the last campaign. Yeah, the last campaign I found as it went on, people started coming in and taking the digital copies. If digital is your thing, because I know myself, I sometimes go through in a campaign and go, I don't know if I can afford the postage. I have kept the postage as low as I can on these. But if you're going to go for digital, you get the digital copy as a PDF. You get it as a double page PDFs as well, in case you're looking at it on a big screen. And you get it as CBRs too. And you'll get, it won't be the same files are sent to print. It'll make sure that they're converted and you get proper RGB files that are ready to be viewed on screen. So
you go through RBG, not CMYK?
I do CMYK for print, but when I do the digital copies, I convert it to the RGB.
Okay.
I tend to work in CMYK when I'm doing the colours, because it's just that, you change it from CMYK, from RGB to CMYK, a little bit of you dies when you see the colour change. So when I do the colours, I tend to work in CMYK. Yeah.
Or something just slightly off. Then you have to mess with it some more.
Yeah.
And we got, of course, just the singular
Just a singular one again. That's anybody that's got the first campaign will be kind of
back.
It just tries to make you buy everything.
I know.
Nothing doxy there, was there? No. Cool.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the 24-hour week covered digital only.
If you want to scroll back up there a wee second, because that's actually one of our backers in that comic there. That's Pete. Who's on Twitter, and I think he might be in the chat tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was looking for somebody. There you go, my man. Thank you. Sorry, I took control over. I'll give control back to you. I was looking for somebody to play this character, Armand Broussard, who makes an appearance in one of the previous issues in a text piece that I write, and Pete just fitted the bill exactly. Yeah.
I'm seeing Mark saying I'm going to burn the whole place down. I'm going to choose to take that as a compliment.
Burn.
Like, wow, it's so amazing. It's just burning the whole place down. Versus like, oh, shoot, he left the iron on in the CGUK break room. I don't know why you guys have an iron in there, but I was like messing with it. And it's
well, you see, we always have an iron because you never know when you've got to iron a nice pristine white shirt, usually for a court visit or something like that.
Just going around and looking at your weird plugs all over the place. Look at these. There's nothing like mine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So now, I didn't ask during our quote-unquote interview part. We've got your new main character here, your main villain, your antagonist. I'm assuming that's one of the big main ones for this last book here.
Yeah, if you scroll down
right
again,
there. Yeah,
these are the first 3 pages of the comic. Each issue starts with a kind of grid set up with what looks like just repeating characters, and then the comic gets mental. And this character here, I don't want to say it because it's like if you've not read the first 2 issues, he's in the first 2 issues.
Okay.
And but yeah, he is going to be the main kind of like nutter in the book.
Okay.
It's a book full of nutters. There's a lot of really crazy mental people.
Of all the threats, he's the biggest at this time.
He's the biggest at this time. Yes. Yeah.
And then we've got so right here you got 1, 2, and 3 plus a Teddy Bogle Ailsa versus Teddy Bogleman print and versus Dracula here. Yeah,
that's kind of like in the first campaign. I did these for the first campaign, and they're really quite nice prints. And I thought, well, one of them was just me saying, right, you know what, we've reached a target here. It's not a stretch goal, but you're all getting it. And another one was me saying, he's a stretch goal. And we got to that with the Ailsa Dark versus Dracula. So I thought I would add them because I've still got the files, and they're quite nice prints. So I thought I would add them to this so anybody that's interested can get those. They're also in the fear box as well.
Speaking of fear box.
Oh, there it is.
This is the big guy.
That's a big guy, yeah.
So this is where we get all 3 issues.
I forget myself what's in there.
Okay, yep, Teddy Bogleman. You get the making.
You get 124 pages of Ailsa Dark, plus you get 28 pages of Teddy Bogleman.
How long's the making of?
It's 28 pages. It's proper full on, yeah. It's going to be 5. I think it's going to be like more like a little book, but it could grow. I don't know. It depends because I've got ideas of what's going in it. I want to put in more than just the making of Ailsa Dark. I want to maybe show you the original version that I did that I ended up trashing, and give you my thoughts and ideas behind it. A couple of pages on the process.
Scratch?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
I did. I had it printed for a convention in Scotland. And it was a really, really bad winter, even for Scotland. And the convention was called off because it was too dangerous. So I looked at my print run and I went, oh, well, I'll just call it for the next convention and do that. And I read it. And my wife had already kind of like said to me when she read it, because you have a sneaking suspicion that it's not quite right. And it was just there's nothing wrong when you get it just speeds up towards the end. And what I'd done was I tried to get like a single story in this issue, and I looked at it and I went, yeah, it's not right. It's going in the bin. So I trashed the run.
Too much kind of condensed in there.
Yeah, and I started again. And it wasn't just that. I was too much tied into having action beats in it as well. I don't know. I think I was trying to please an audience, thinking that convention people will come, they'll buy this, and it'll be a year again before they see me. So, pack everything in there, and it's and then I went, nah. And so there was good stuff in there. It's a little of it, that page there. That's the 2 pages at the top there. Ailsa, they were both in the original one, but I completely redrew them. So they completely redrew them. But there was very little of the original one that I kept. So I'll probably talk about that in the making of, the process I use for how I put it together, and also the spin-offs that are coming as well. They'll be mentioned in the making of, and just how I'm doing those two.
Now, did the second issue go smoother then? I mean,
second issue went so smooth that I remastered a lot of stuff in the first issue. If I had my way, I'd start drawing the whole thing again, because I'm a bit like George Lucas that way. Although I hate him doing it, I kind of want to do it myself. I know, it's like every artist does that. But yeah, it is, yeah. But I was happy, especially there's some pages in there. And I started doing the double page spreads, and I was kind of scared of doing them. But when I got a copy through from the printers, a proof, I went, okay, this works well. So it's going to work. So I can start being a wee bit more curvy, or a wee bit more Steranko. And the third issue is, as you saw, those first 3 pages go straight into 2 splash pages. They're then followed by 2 double page spreads and another splash page. It's big, it's epic. It's kind of like I'm promising an apocalyptic end to this story. So it has to be like an IMAX screen that people are looking on.
Oh yeah. Well, it's good that you feel that way, though, because you're going to be improving, all through your life. And the minute you think, oh yeah, no, it's perfect, it's awesome, you might hang it up, because there's always a way to improve. I think artists are always going to think that you're going to look back at your best stuff in like a few months and go,
Yeah. I'm just checking. I know you've got control, but I'm just going to check and see who we've got here in the chat here. Christine, who did go for the variant cover. Good stuff. Tatsu as well. Tatsunami.
Oh yeah.
Who's this guy? Don't recognise him.
Don't pay any attention to that dude.
My show, indeed. Pete, I like this. I think you're going to do every show from now on. It's very funny, Michael. Thank you. He beat you to it.
Got that trophy on his head forever.
and Pete, thanks again, Pete. Yep. Let's see if I'm missing anybody here. Hey, call me Mark. He'll right back at you. I think I got everybody in the chat. Oh, there's my man. Cheers, Cap. Right, cool. I shall hand back to you now that I've done that.
Finally, holy cow.
Yeah. I might just do that normally. I just ignore the chat and then just do that.
Just a little hello. Okay, so these are from 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, they're from 1 and 2. And you can see how they are experimenting with various things. That's the Bampots, yes. Yeah. They are the Jackson Pollocks of slaughter. They just revel in the fun and the artistry of killing.
I love the different color schemes.
Yeah, I've got a whole color scheme worked out, and it's I don't want to sound poncy, but it's kind of thematic as well in my head for certain characters. But it's also it goes through all 3 issues, so you'll notice that when you look at them, it's like I'm not just suddenly playing with colors. If I decide that I want to start using a lot of gradients and stuff like that, it's going to ruin my idea. So there's very subtle with the gradients,
right.
And everything is like old school flat colors with shadow and highlights.
Well, it gives it a timeless look too. I mean, this kind of thing right here is never going to go out of style. That kind of coloring.
Yeah, no, and also when I do use any kind of filters or that, like in the background there for the clouds, I go out and I photograph the clouds in around Dundee, so that everything that goes in here, even if I'm doing something like that, is coming straight from me.
Oh wow!
because I quite like the idea of having real clouds in there, just playing around and manipulating with them.
Let me just go up real quick here, and I'm going to give a refresh, see if anything's changed. Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
Not that,
All right.
not that we're complaining. That's great.
No, it will. Believe me, it will. Just gearing up for a neck. Okay, so here we go. Perks again. Kind of bring it back down around full circle to what we had before, the 3 issues.
Yep.
More clear, so you don't have to click the drop-down menus. And I forgot about this one here, the original penciler piece, which...
Yeah, that went. Yeah, that was Mr. G himself. I can show you how, if you want to.
Yes.
So I'm talking to you as if you can use StreamYards, because you are doing a really good job of being in control. Yeah, this is where it's at so far.
I like that.
And it was the cover to issue 2 of Tales of Mystery and Imagination. And I did the cover originally in one day. So I had to get it done because I was editing the magazine and getting other people's stories in it. And one thing I did that annoyed me was I didn't mirror him in the mirror. I drew the Tatty man's face the right way around, and the same on the picture that he's kind of painting up here. And it's always kind of annoyed me. And I kind of said to myself, it's probably because he's a Tatty man. He's just making us see it that way, But of course, I didn't believe that. That was an excuse. That's that's the kind of excuse you make to kind of like paper over. So I really was looking forward to the idea of redoing this again and doing it properly. I'll scan it and I'll link it, or maybe even do a painting of it and use it later on for something. But yeah, so I'm really quite happy with that one.
That's looking great.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
And do you prefer physical media to digital, or are you just really used to digital now?
I'm using a lot of physical media right now in my teaching and my lecturing, because I've got quite a few kind of fine art classes that I'm taking. So they're called contemporary art practice these days. They don't call them fine art. So I'm getting back into that, But I'm looking over here and I've got
Hey, Dave and Pete Hole.
Stroking my Cintiq. Hey guys, hey Dave.
Welcome to my show.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you arrive, just nice to have you here, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, welcome to Statto's show. But yeah, digital's still my thing. I've been.
Can't beat it for speed.
Yeah, and I've been doing digital art now for so many years that it's kind of like I don't see any difference when I'm doing art now. If I go and start doing it on paper or whatever, if I make mistakes, so the ink or something's not nice, I need to get some Tipex or gouache paint or something to mask it over. So it's just, it's just a different way of doing things. It's a different feel.
Oh yeah. But the nice thing about physical stuff is, like, you got to get it right almost right off. So it's great practice for digital.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I'll sketch physical kind of like layouts and scan them in.
Oh, I've done that, yeah.
But if you watch any of the videos of me working on the channel, I tend to have my setup is I'll have my Wacom in front of me and I'll have my screen there, and I'll have the image that I'm going to draw upside down on the screen, so that I start working on it upside down. And that way I kind of like my brain's kind of frazzled. It makes you work a wee bit harder getting things right, and rather than bring an image in and trace over it, you see people that do that, their work begins to look a wee bit flat. Well, it looks like Marvel comics work.
Christine Venner's got a great point here. She didn't get the first 2 issues. Now she gets to binge it, which I'm in that same boat. I don't have to wait at all. However, the anticipation for the people that did get it, it's finally here. So, I think everybody wins in this scenario.
Yeah, it's not a quick read. I like my old Bronze Age comics. I like writers like Steve Englehart and Don McGregor and Doug Mensch and Steve Gerber. So
you do like his Claremont, where it's like a wall of text and there's like a character peeking out trying to.
Yeah, no, I'm not because I'm the artist. If anyone after this, if you check, or even some other day, if you check how I do a page on YouTube, you'll see that I have all the lettering done. So I know I'm not going to obscure. There's nothing worse than you've done a great drawing, and then you realise I've got so much to tell. You know.
Well, that's one of the best things about being in, you know, like one-man show where you can like get your art lined up with your letters so that you're not erasing important stuff or whatever.
Yeah, you can cheat a wee bit as well, because if your background's really detailed, you don't have to draw where you know there's going to be a word balloon.
It's nicer for writing too, because you can just kind of like make it up as that face expression looks like he's saying "screw you." I think that's going to be what he's saying. Screw you.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, well, this is a stretch goal. The Tatty Bogo Man wants you.
Absolutely.
So that's the badge. Is the face from that? Is the badge, but that's going to be a print that everybody's going to get, and it looks like everybody's, you know, don't like tempt fate, but the way things are going, it looks like everybody is going to be getting that print. So that's cool.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it.
We're edging towards it. And then this one here,
Shrouded in Mystery.
Shrouded in Mystery. We hope we will not know what that is until we get towards the Tatty Bogo Man.
Yeah, you got to get that one first.
Yeah.
To get to me, you got to go through him.
Yeah. That sounds worse than it really is. He'll let you through. The Tatty Bogo Man endorses this campaign 100%.
And then we got, this is the box that's coming in?
That's the normal box. So even that's a normal box. It's solid. And it'll get through your letterbox. And you have no problem with your books turning up and by any bad condition. They'll all be like they'll be bagged and really nicely sort of like packaged. So
A4, that's the size. This is a lot like Chubb's Mary Boys, around that, like the magazine size, like in the 70s. Beautiful.
There you go. Oh,
I like that a lot.
I'll big it up. Yeah, here we go.
I haven't seen an A4 comic in a long, long time. The last one I got was a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, that's it. I've got one. Careful. It's not a great comic, but it's a Kirby, so I need to be careful.
I see how much I matter to Dave. Look at that. He ain't going through the Tatty Bogo Man for anyone. Thanks a lot. I'm gonna get slaughtered. I'm just gonna watch.
Right, so there you go. There you can see.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think I've even got a video on my channel that shows people. The thing is, the real estate is you just get more to play with when you've got these pages. And when you go to a double page spread as well, again, that's even more. So you can have fun. So if I'm going to have like a close up, like the storyteller, the kind of the blue and white kind of face guy there, it's huge. It's in your face. But there's loads of detail. There's loads of things happening, and you can just have a field day with it. But yeah, that's it. So you're going to get 3. You get the Tatty Bogo Man, you'll get 4 books at this size.
Beautiful. Well, that'll be a welcome addition to my burgeoning CGUK collection, because I think I've maybe done like 12. I've backed 12 campaigns, and 5 or 6 of them, at least almost half of them, are CGUK now. So
yeah, that's we've got like we don't have like a house style. Everybody's so different and individual, and everybody's so good as well. And it's kind of like if you pick up if you go back in time to when 2000 AD was at its height, or somebody like Metal Hurler, heavy metal were at their height, and you had all these completely different styles in it, and they were all cool. I like to think that CGUK is a bit like that. If you were to package us up together, that's the kind of thrill people would get.
Yeah, that's something about like the big 2 that I notice, where like they take a really popular artist, Jim Lee or somebody like that, and they'll instruct the rest of the artists kind of like mirror that. We want a house style kind of thing. I mean, there are some that are slightly different, and there are some people that that kind of get to buck that trend, like Scotty Young with his like kind of ropey or baby like versions of their characters and stuff. But I mean, I do notice that like you get into a company and they kind of want you to draw a very specific way a lot of times, unless you're a big star, which those are going away, like more and more nowadays. They're kind of like character actors, where instead of getting somebody that can play anything, you just get like a George Clooney that plays George Clooney, or like get me that personality versus a dude that can play anything.
Yeah, so downtrodden George Clooney, cool George Clooney,
exactly.
Funny George Clooney, serious George Clooney.
Hey,
hey,
you got another one.
Go. Cool. I'll refresh it here. I like it better on your screen. because it's in dollars. It just looks better. That's cool. That's great. I'm going to have a wee look here as well.
Well, now I'm curious. What do we got here? We can look at it in Thai.
Ooh, how do you do that?
British pound. GPB save. We're at 1,092 Great British pounds.
Yeah.
As you guys say, your real money.
The real money. Yeah, that's great. I couldn't have imagined a better start.
Oh, yeah.
Campaign. That's terrific.
That is wonderful. And what are we, like 2 hours since launch? About
2 hours since launch. And this is even before we've started our marathon take on Halloween, which we're going to be doing later on.
I'm excited.
That's going to be fun. Yeah. But yeah.
Have you watched? Do you have all of them?
Well, it's like I was saying, I don't have all of them because I couldn't find the Curse of Michael Myers. I think I have. Well, I could find the original cinema release. I've got that on DVD, but I don't have the director's cut. I used to have it on VHS or something like that.
I wonder if they released it on DVD.
No, it wasn't on VHS. It was on like a CD-R type thing. It might not have been a legal copy. Let's just put it that way.
Did they release that on DVD?
I think they did. Yeah, I think they did. But it's probably, I think it was in one of these
like those
hugely expensive box sets that you're not going to buy just because it's got that in it, you know?
Right. Oh, now I've done it. Well, let me go back to dollars.
All right. We're stuck there. Do you want me to stop sharing the screen so you can sort that out?
No, I don't think so. It'll be fine. When in Scotland.
Oh, right. Okay, that's homework. We're going to have to watch that before the next show, Statto. Okay.
The new teaser for Halloween Kills dropped this evening.
Right.
Oh yeah. Okay, I wonder if that's going straight to streaming or not. That'll be interesting to see if like all the theaters kind of open up and it's worth it for them.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave. I'm as surprised as you are. That was amazing.
People's got a point.
Christine's going. Bye, Christine. Thanks very much if you're still here.
We're blending our shows.
Yeah, blending our shows. Well, I don't know. Do you have any other questions for me, your guest tonight, Statto?
You know, you've outlined what's coming next. Now, are you gonna do anything else between Ailsa Dark and this? Like once this is over, are you gonna like do like a palate cleanser, try something else out, or are you gonna go straight into the next book?
That's a good question. I've already written a standalone graphic novel.
Hey.
And it's I don't think there's any images of him here actually. Logos, the character who's in Ailsa Dark, he's a banter demon, which means his powers revolve around linguistics and how he talks. And he can talk to the dead. He's like nobody else can talk with the spirit of the dead, but he can. He can talk to them. So that's one of his powers. I've spun him off and given him his own standalone graphic novel. And that's probably going to come out at some point. It's going to be, I don't know if anybody in there, you might have seen Tony Sizzle's work. He's a really good guy. He worked on Commie Mark's campaign. And he's illustrating it. So I don't need to draw it, Statto. I wrote it in a weekend. And that was me done. I just gave it to Tony. That felt really good. But I'm really happy with it. It's got a pulp kind of quality to it, kind of hardboiled pulp quality. It's more American than Ailsa Dark.
Okay.
It's set in America, and it's kind of like if you can imagine a Sam Peckinpah road movie with werewolves. It's kind of like that.
Easy growler.
Easy growler. I like that. I'm stealing that. Quickly, Tony. Quickly do a page with easy growler. No, it does explain very succinctly in I think one panel the difference between a wolfman and a werewolf. So there you go.
I feel like they would ride a chopper. They were.
Yeah. You would think so. It's funny you say that because the whole creative process, I had an entire sequence with a biker gang of werewolves. And then I just had to take it out because there was no reason for me to have an entire sequence with a biker gang.
Well, it kind of reminds me of that movie Skinwalkers. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
Yeah, I remember seeing that years ago. Yeah,
I want to say that was a biker werewolf gang, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but
that was Wolfmen, proper Wolfmen with pants.
Yeah, that's what you're after.
You don't see enough of those anymore. You really don't.
You do it, and I'm a big fan of Wolfmen with pants.
Is that your like go-to? What is your now? Here, let's keep this on topic.
Werewolves on
what is your ideal werewolf? Is it like the hell dog like from American Werewolf, or is it like say the howling / wolf soldiers kind of upright but naked, or are you talking like Lon Chaney / Oliver Reed / Skinwalkers kind of werewolf with pants?
People Circus, I think that's your door. You might want to go and answer it. Yeah, I don't like the werewolf in American Werewolf in London. At the end of American Werewolf in London.
You don't like the hell dog?
No, I think it's terrible. I like the film. I like everything up to it, but I don't like the final werewolf. I just thought, I'd say that in front of people. I'd probably kind of like, it's shocking. But I much prefer the Howlings werewolves.
Okay.
I also, my favorite werewolf is probably visually, I think, still Oliver Reed.
Oh, you think so?
I really
Snow
like
White
that
werewolf.
Yeah, I really like that whole kind of like makeup effect on him, and
Okay.
So yeah, but I think the Howling werewolves were the ones in Dog Soldiers as well. I think they're based on those. They're kind of like a top version of those. I really like the Howling ones from the first Howling movie. Apart
Not so
from
much
maybe
the later ones.
No. Apart from the ballet dancing one, I quite like that.
The one in 6 was almost barely a werewolf. Do you remember that one?
I think is that the one I've not watched. Remember, I was talking just before. I think I have to watch the last. I think that could be the one I've not seen.
You haven't seen the one in the circus?
Oh, I think I have seen that one. Yeah, was that okay? Yeah.
It's frustrating me to that series because every one of those sequels, there's a great movie in there. Yeah. It was just hit by bad acting and bad budget. Like a whodunit mystery in a lockdown castle in a storm. That's awesome. A bunch of different bear werewolves and kangaroo werewolves and different kind of things like that's great.
I think we've hit on a future show.
Oh yeah.
I would definitely have. What I'm doing now, so I'm going to have to take over control just a little bit.
Okay. We're almost over. You know what? I'm gonna relinquish it back to you.
Thank you very much.
I've got no experience in this.
I'm going to go. My head. No, this was great. I think from now on you're going to present the shows, my man. I'm going to go. Hey, there you go. Statto's comic book. Go.
That's frameable.
I got totally mixed up with my numbering as well. I got totally confused because I've got 2 shows on the go. I think some of the things I said, it said number 9. Some said number 10. I don't know. But okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my YouTubes and I'm going to get the link for the next show.
Beautiful.
And I'm going to pop it in for you guys. If you see, whoa, that's me talking. Stop that. See, you would have probably done it a lot quicker than me, Statto. And I'm going to drop that link in there so it can make it easy for you guys to get there. I think we'll have a wee kind of like break in a minute. I'm going to hand over to you to close off, but we'll have a wee break for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's going to be a biggie, I think. All the Halloween movies, not just the initial series of Halloween movies, but all the Halloween movies.
That's like 11 movies? Unless I miss my guess?
Well, we'll have an argument about that. We'll get 7, but we get 9. Directors and you get producers' cuts and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it's got to be at least 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Is this the biggest one?
I think so.
I think it is.
Well, maybe not, but I suppose Dracula probably had the most movies in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, we didn't do half of them because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but for a series, yeah. Oh, no, Bond. Bond.
Well, we had this. We haven't finished that. We split it up into... Because that's still like 4 to 7 movies. That's still... This dwarfs that.
Yeah. No, as for a horror franchise, yeah, I think so. It's anything from like the 70s onwards, I consider a modern horror franchise. So yeah.
Okay.
It's because I'm old. But yeah, I've stuck that link in the chat, guys. So please join us in about 5 minutes or so, and we'll get our horror hats on. And we'll still keep an eye on Ailsa Dark.
Of course we will.
And if you could, I see some of you already have. If you could, on Twitter, kind of retweet and let people know it's out there. Oh, we're up again. We're now at 21 backers. That's 1,215 in real money. What's that in dollars? If you managed to get yours sorted,
I'm gonna look again. Nope, it still wants me to stay with pounds.
Yeah, mine's stuck. I can't seem to change mine at all. But
That's
so
funny.
Another backer since we've been talking. Now that's great.
That is great.
Yeah. Okay. I shall hand over to you to close the show, Statto.
Well, it's been a long journey to get to the end. Mostly because of my fumbling. Mostly because of my laugh. Mostly because I don't have full control of this. No placing blame. I'm gonna own it. Is that the playoff kind of stuff? It's like he keeps on going on. Turn the music on. Shut him down.
Just say good night, Statto. See you in
Good night,
5 minutes.
everybody. Thank you very much.
See you guys. Thanks.